Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone, and also to our honorable lecturer, Dr. Dalia Ibrahim. So today, our group, which is the group 1, would like to present about 2008, the Greece of the financial crisis. So let's take a look on it. Before we continue our presentation, this is our team members, which are represented by Alisya Binti Asrul Helmi, Hasanah Binti Ismail, Ahmad Hakim bin Paswa, and last but not least is Muhammad Azzarul Farhan bin Muhammad Azahar. Hi, I am Alisya Binti Asrul Helmi. I will talk about on the introduction and also the timelines. So let's proceed with it. So for the introduction, I will explain more about the Greece financial crisis. First, from my point of view is that between 2008 and 2018, the Greece incurs the European Union a frightening amount of sovereign debt. When Greece threatened to pay its debts in 2010, the Eurozone was put at risk. So to keep the Greece from going bankrupt, the European gave it enough money to carry on with the payments. Second, this graph has shown us about the 10-year of Greek government bond yields in 2008 to 2018. Between 2008 and 2009, the Greece budget decline was equal to 15.4% of their GDP. This sparked a fear of default and expanded the yield differential on 10 years bonds. From 2010 to 2012, the rates on 10 years bonds were higher than 35%, as shown in the red above. The debt holders agreed to an enormous debt restructure in 2012, which is exchanging the 77 billion euros of bonds for 75% less. Next, the timelines. From what we can see here is that from 2008 to 2009, a fiscal shortfall about 12.9% of GDP was declared by Greece. In 2010, Greece had established a 2-year strategy to reduce the deficit to 3% of their GDP. Then, the bailout was increased by 190 billion euros by European Financial Stability Facility in 2011. While in 2014, although the Greece market was growing at a slow pace of 0.7%, it looked to be recovering in this year. Between 2015 and 2017, the austerity measures were turned down by the Greek people. The volatility caused people to rush to the banks, and Greece's economy have suffered a lot over the years. As a result, in 2018, the bailout was terminated. The Europe's emergency financing the institutions are on the hook for the largest share of the unpaid debt. So that's all from me. I will pass on to my friend. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hasanah Binti Ismail, and I will continue to present about the causes of factors which lead to the Greece financial crisis 2008. For your information, in 2008, the world witnessed economic turndown of the most dangerous nature since the Great Depression of the 1930s. The Greece financial crisis started to begin when in 2007, the high home price in the United States turned downward, which spread quickly to the entire US financial sector. The worst hit country by that financial turndown was Greece. The global financial crisis that began in 2007 exposed the true nature of Greece's financial strife. The recession weakened Greece's already paltry tax revenue, which caused the deficit to worsen. In 2010, US financial rating agencies stamped Greece's bond with a junk grade. As capital began to dry up, Greece faced a liquidity crisis, forcing the government to seek bailout funding, which they eventually received with staunch conditions. Bailout from the International Monetary Fund and other European creditors were conditions on Greek budget reform, specifically spending cuts and higher tax revenues. This austerity measure created a vicious cycle of recession with unemployment reaching 25.4% in August 2012. Besides, the other causes which led to the Greek financial crisis is when Greece started to join the Eurozone in 2001, and some consider that the Eurozone partly to blame for Greece's downfall. However, the Greece economy was suffering structural problems prior to adopting the single currency, and the economy was left to collapse. Greece, even before joining the euro, was living beyond its means. After adopting single currency, public spending soared. The government also hosted 2004 Athens Olympic and piled up debt. The debt increase kept soaring till the point where the country was no longer able to repay its debt. Last but not least, the Greece financial crisis is due to the government fiscal policies that include too much spendings. So now let's continue to the next presenter that will talk more about the Greece financial crisis.
Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Ahmad Luqman Hakim bin Paksullah, and now I will proceed with my part, which is why Greece will not leave the Eurozone, or other name for it is Grexit, which is combined word for Greece and exit. Okay, first, an exit will not make the deal cheaper. Okay, no matter whether the Greece leave the European Union or stay in it, the Union still have to support Greece as it will lead to a total economic collapse. So, however, the debt will not be much more cheaper, no matter the Greece is still in the Union or not. Second, Greece could have abandoned the euro and reinstate the drachma, but it could turn worsen. Okay, at first it may be giving us some advantage to the Greece, but when the drachma value fall, it will turn to be a hyperinflation and could not attract the new foreign direct investments. Okay, third, Greek Prime Minister Spiras finally understood their situation comprehensively. Okay, at the finance minister meeting in Riga, Latvia, the Prime Minister of the Greece finally understood their situation, that they have no more trump card and cancel their wish of exiting the Union. Okay, fourth, geopolitical nonsense. Greece is traditionally a friend of Russia and also a wide open country for the refugee crossing the Mediterranean. So the European Union member will not isolate this type of country and have to help them, as it will be uncalculable geopolitical consequence if they did that. So they have to support Greece no matter what. Okay, last but not least, a union is an union. Okay, if Greece actually leave the European Union, it will be no longer a real union, will no longer be a same union. It will look like the union take advantage of from the country member, but not giving a helping hand when the situation need them to do it. It also will make the union look way much weaker if they let Greece really exit the union.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Azzarul Farhan bin Muhammad Azahar, and today in this presentation I'll be talking about why Greece didn't go default. A widespread Greek default will have a more immediate effect. First, Greek banks will have to go bankrupt without loans from the European Central Bank. Losses will have threatened the solvency of other European banks, particularly in Germany and France. They, along with other private investors, held 34.1 billion euros in Greek debt. Eurozone governments own 52.9 billion euros. That's in addition to the 131 billion euros owned by the EFSF, essentially also Eurozone governments. Germany owned the most debt, but it was a tiny percentage of its GDP. Much of the debt didn't come due until 2020 or later. Smaller countries face a more serious situation. For example, Finland's portion of the debt was 10% of its annual budget. The ECB held 26.9 billion euros of Greek debt. If Greece has defaulted, the ECB would have been fined. However, it was unlikely for other indebted countries who also have defaulted. For these reasons, a Greek default wouldn't have been worse than the 1998 long-term capital management debt crisis. That is when Russia's default led to a tidal wave of defaults in other emerging market countries. The IMF prevented many defaults by providing capital until the economies had improved. The IMF owns 21.1 billion euros of Greek debt, not enough to deplete it. The differences will be the scale of defaults and that they are in a developed market. It will affect the source of much of the IMF fund. The United States wouldn't be able to help also, while a huge backer of the IMF funding is now deep in debt itself. There will be no political appetite for an American bailout of European sovereign debt.
In conclusions, after a long year of financial disaster that overwhelming Greece, the government and the citizens of the Greece never give up and surrender to the fate. Okay, they finally solved the crisis after they being forced to take a large amount of financial assistance from the European Union's European Central Bank and International Monetary Funds, and mark a return to the financial normalcy from the financial crisis. Okay, until 2021, the Greece have shown a positive improvement in all aspects, such as a better foreign direct investment inflow, employment rate, and GDP. Thank you. That's all from us.